Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the language tag, and I was actually asked to do this video by Emine Critique because she knows I speak multiple languages and she wanted to hear me talk in each of them. So the first part of this video is actually going to be the questions from the language tag, and at the end of the video I will introduce myself and talk a little bit in the languages I speak, so that you guys can kind of hear what I sound like in different languages, because in each and every language I sound a tiny bit different. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Question number one: what's your native language? My native language is Dutch. I was born and raised for the most part of my life in the Flemish part of Belgium, where everyone speaks Dutch. Question number two: what was your first language learning experience? Well, here in Belgium, since the country is kind of divided in two by a language border, one part of the country speaks Dutch and the other one speaks French. We have to learn French at school at a fairly young age, so when we're, I think, 10 years old, we start with French courses, which are quite easy, and that was my first encounter with another language course, actually. But here in Belgium, as a young kid, I already encountered English, and my parents were very much into trying to teach us languages. So we had Disney videos that were in English with Dutch subtitles, and most movies actually here in Belgium aren't dubbed, but they are subbed. So yeah, my first encounter, I think, was with English because of the Disney videos my mom had. Question number three: what languages have you studied and why did you start them? Well, here in Belgium you have to learn French and you have to learn English, and then you can get additional languages added to your school career depending on what type of studies you follow. So if you follow a multilingual course, you will add, I think it's German or another language to it. German, Spanish, Italian are kind of the main choices you mostly get, because here in Belgium there's also a teeny tiny part of the country that speaks German, so yeah, you get German courses here as well. So I had French when I was younger, so in 4th and 5th grade of my, well, kid education, so when I was 10, 11, 12. And then I actually moved to the French-speaking part of Belgium, so my entire school career then for 5 years was in French. So then I had German and English classes. So I have had first French classes when I was still in a Dutch school, and then when I went to a French school I had English and German added to it. And we also had English in the Flemish school, but the levels are quite different. Question number four: how does your personality affect how you learn languages? Now, I am someone who learns languages the fastest when I have people to talk to, or books to read, or movies to watch. I have a very difficult time assessing theoretical courses. So, for example, I cannot for the Lord tell which grammar rule I am using. I will just hear the language, and if I hear it enough so that I know how sentences are built and how to use them, I will know how to use them. But I cannot learn anything by heart. Question number five: do you prefer learning languages in a class or individually? I personally did not like my language courses at school, not because I didn't like learning languages, but because they weren't up to my level of that language. When I was a Dutch-speaking person learning French, I hated going to French class because it was so slow and I had no clue how to learn the things, and it wasn't for me. But when I moved to the French part of Belgium, I had like speed courses that I had to learn French. In about 2 months' time, I had to switch from a Dutch school to a French school, and it was more of practical courses. So there were a lot of French-speaking kids into the classes I went to. They were there to learn English, I believe, but I spoke to a lot of them, and that's actually the way I learned French. So I'm not like a class person. I prefer having a practical side to learning a language. Question 6. What are your favorite language learning materials? Books, as I've mentioned earlier, and movies with subtitles. Those are for me the best ways to learn a language, is to hear people who are native to the language or who speak the language fluently speaking it, so that you know how to pronounce words, how to make sentences, etc. And for the writing part, I love reading, and what I mainly do is I have a small dictionary with me, so a pocket dictionary with the book that I'm reading in another language. So for example, if I were to learn another language, for example Italian, I would get a small Italian to Dutch dictionary or Italian to French dictionary and actually see what some of the words mean that I don't know yet. Question number 7. How much time do you spend actively learning per day or week? When I was at school, I had, I think it was 2 hours of English every week that were theoretical and 2 hours of practical, but the practical hours were like basic bullshit. You had to like write simple letters or do stupid simple conversations over the phone, for example placing an order, being at a customer service thing. So those were the English courses, and when I still had French courses we also had we had 4 hours of theoretical and 2 hours of practical, so 2 hours extra than we had English. And when I was in my other school where I only had English and German, I had 4 hours of English a week and 4 hours of German a week. But right now I am not really actively learning anymore. I just maintain the languages that I use on my job because I have to use 3 languages at my job. I'm not maintaining my German, which is a damn shame because I love German, so I might pick up on that, but currently I am not in the process of learning a new language anymore. Question number 8. What are your short-term and long-term language learning goals? On the short term, I think my English should be improved even more. Because I work at a mainly English-speaking company, I really have to up my English game. So that's one of my short-term goals that I want to achieve, is to have better English pronunciation. And then on the long term, I think I would love to pick up German again, but I am not sure if I will be able to, at least right now. But on the long term, I would love to maybe in 2-3 years speak German again. I think that would be awesome. Question number 9. What is your favorite language? So if we don't consider my native language, which is Dutch, I think English is my favorite language, maybe together with French, but I do prefer using English a lot more lately because I don't speak French as much anymore as I used to because of my new job. It's an English company and most of the books I read are still in French. But I don't know, I prefer English because there's a lot more you can find in English, especially movie-wise, book-wise. So yeah, I think for the moment English is my favorite language. And then finally, question number 10. What advice can you give to new language learners? Don't give up. And don't be discouraged by people who can already speak the language. If you speak more than one language, that is super duper awesome because most people only speak one, especially if I talk to people from the US, they are really impressed that I speak 3 languages fluently and that I can add a bit of German to that. So most people don't even speak 2 languages, and it's nothing to be ashamed of that you don't speak a language fluently. As long as you can understand people, that's already a big step, because if you understand them, you can find a way to communicate with them. So don't be discouraged because other people can speak the language better than you can, because everyone started learning a language at some point. So because Amy really wanted to hear me talk in the other languages, I'm gonna just shortly introduce myself in the languages that I speak. Dus in het Nederlands, wat dus mijn moedertaal is, klink ik zo. Ik ben Cathy, ik ben 23 jaar oud en ik woon in Deinze hier in België en nu spreek ik Nederlands tegen jullie. Et en français, ça donne ceci. Je m'appelle Cathy, j'ai 23 ans, j'habite à Deinze, ici en Belgique. Et j'ai habité en Wallonie, d'où ma connaissance du français. And in English I sound like this, as you all know already. My name is Cathy, I'm 23 years old and I live in the city of Deinze in Belgium. Und ich spreche auch ein kleines bisschen Deutsch. Mein Name ist Cathy, ich bin 23 Jahre alt und ich lebe in Deinze in Belgien, aber ich kann noch ein kleines bisschen Deutsch. So these were all the languages I speak currently, so I can speak Dutch and French are my native languages. Well, one is more native than the other, then English added to it, and a tiny bit of German. I can like have simple conversations in German, but that's about it, and I make a lot of mistakes because I haven't used it in a while. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure had a lot of fun making it. Yeah, leave in the comments, what languages do you speak? Do you only speak one native language? Which one is it? Or do you speak multiple languages? Because I would love to know what languages you guys speak. Yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Maybe even subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. And I will hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.